Welcome to Buy versus Friend, and today we're looking at a company called Fractional. Fractional tries to help people invest in real estate. Let's take a look.
Man, it is hot today. Whoa, it's hot out here, man. It is hot today.
You know it's hot out.
Yeah, I just said that. I said it's hot out here, man.
Yeah, you know it's hot too.
Yeah, that's why I said it, man. It is hot out here.
As you know, real estate prices are becoming higher and higher and less accessible. Not only for people that want to use it as a primary residence, but also as a form of investment. So Fractional is kind of offering the service of helping you match with other people in similar situation that want to invest in real estate but can't on their own, and essentially help you set everything up around the company to essentially start making some revenue from that property. Let's take a look at what they're offering and what the process looks like. Fractional will match co-owners. Essentially, they'll find other investors that that are compatible, because they will need to make decisions together and essentially run that property together. The number of people in a group, according to their website, is going to be 2 to 10 investors per property, but apparently you're allowed to go up to 100 people. Once they've matched a group of investors together, they will create an LLC for the group of people. And essentially the LLC will be the one that's going to be buying the property, and by having a percentage of this LLC, you will also have a percentage share of the property. They will also help you find lending partners. So essentially filing the application, they have their lending partners. I'm sure they make some sort of commission from that, but still they help the group get a loan. But I think they'll also give you the option, if you form your own group and you have your own lender, that you can come with your own lender essentially. Banking, they also set up banking accounts for the LLC to support deposits, rental distribution, expense withdrawals, and reserves for the property. But if you have your own loan, you can also have your own bank account. But this is kind of the service that they offer. And then property closing, they will partner you with one of their agents to go and make an offer and go through the process of buying a house. Nothing is different there. It's just, you're buying with a number of other people and potentially strangers. So that's the process. Once they've set it up for you, they will offer to partner you with a property manager who's going to be running the property essentially for you. So, finding tenants, leasing the property, collecting rents, etc., anything that goes into standard property management. I went through kind of the Q&A and tried to understand some of the details of the process. There are some things that are important to note here. Fractional will essentially be the administrator, so they do not own the property that they're buying for you. They're not buying for you, they're buying on behalf of you. They're essentially facilitating the process of people coming together and buying a property under an LLC. And they're essentially administrators, and they're taking a fee essentially because of that. So another thing that's important is Fractional is not a REIT. A REIT is a real estate investment trust. And that's a legal type of company and a form of investment for real estate, for the real estate sector. And it's a company that will buy and manage the properties, but the properties belong to them. And by law, they have to share the proceeds of the return on the properties with their investors. So those are the dividends, and a lot of them give monthly dividends, etc. But it's important to make the distinction between what Fractional is doing and what these other REITs are doing. Essentially, Fractional does not have any liability towards those properties. They're just administrating. So essentially, you're still the owner of those properties that you're buying through them, but they're just facilitating the process of getting you guys together, getting a contract between the owners together, so that you can make decisions on how to handle repairs, or any decision, right? How to sell a house, or when there's something. So they don't have any risk, any liability in the process, which is interesting for them, and I can see how it's valuable for the people that want to invest through them. But at the same time, what it means for you as an investor is that you take on the risk, right? whereas a REIT or traditional REIT will be taking the risk. So I won't spend too much time on that, but just wanted to make the distinction between the two. Yes, again, fractional doesn't actually manage the property for you. They will just partner you with different property managers so that you can, essentially work with them to manage your property. Again, they're not really owning the property for you, and they're not managing it for you. They're just managing the process of investing in real estate, if that makes sense. They have a one-time 2% fee on property closing. All right, that makes sense. I wonder, one thing that was not clear is that 2% on top of the real estate agent fee, or is that instead of the 2% of the real estate agent fee? I would assume that it's on top because if it was instead, they would be advertising that really hard. But still important to note. And they also have a recurring monthly service fee of 2% of the rent that your LLC will get from that property. I wonder what the condition is for that, if there's an opportunity to eventually end that, or is that permanently? For as long as this LLC owns that property, they're the only ones that can do the administration for that property. Do you have the option to break from them and find somebody else that manages the... I don't even know after the acquisition what they're doing for you really. Maybe the platform where they can facilitate decision makings, voting, etc., etc. But I don't know if that's for 2% of the rent. But just something interesting to note here. They have a minimum investment of $5,000, so $5,000 or more, obviously. And the way that the rent is going to be distributed is going to be a proportion of essentially how much of the property you own. So if you own 10% of the property, you'll receive 10% of the rental income that comes from it. Yes, just like shares of a company, you can sell your share of a property. They have a few options on how you can sell your shares. They have a third-party appraiser that will assess the value of the property and allow you to either share at that value. So for example, if the property is appraised at $100,000 and you own 10% of the property, which is $10,000, you'll be able to sell that share to anybody else that wants to share. And I think they offer a platform for other people that are interested in investing in real estate to be able to sell those shares, or they offer to buy it back from you at 80% of the value that's appraised. So essentially, if you don't want to deal with trying to sell it, they will buy it from you for 80% of the value, which is kind of a scam, but to some extent I understand. If you're in a rush, you need to get your money out, they need to make a profit, so they'll buy it from you at 80%. So yeah, that's essentially it for the explanation here. I thought it was an interesting concept just because it is true that investing in real estate is very difficult, and this is a cool way to facilitate people getting together and buying a property together. Let's take a look at one of the examples that they offer on the website. If you're interested, they have different listings that are posted. So you can just go in and select one of the properties. I see here it's in Spring, Texas. That's actually really cool for $160,000. I think they have some basic images of the property, nothing. They'll tell you how much your initial payment, you can insert how much you want to invest initially, for how long do you want to hold it, let's say 5 years. And they can tell you essentially what your cash flow is going to be monthly. So if I invest $5,000, they estimate, again, this is an estimate, that I could cash flow $4 a month after all of the property management, expenses. But they're also estimating that the property value will increase by $700 over the 5 years that I'll be holding the property, giving me a total return of $731. And they tell you what percentage of ownership you would have. So that's pretty interesting. They're saying that essentially if you invest $5,000, the estimate is that in 5 years, you'll get a total return of $4,731. Return of almost 100% over 5 years. I feel like it's pretty decent. It's not terrible. Obviously, it depends on a lot of assumptions that they make. And I think some of the assumptions that they've made is kind of listed here. They have an assumed monthly rent, right? A market value. So if you get the house for cheaper than that, obviously your appreciation is probably bigger and your profit is going to be a little higher. The appreciation rate, the vacancy rate, and So vacancy rate. So if for some reason you have more vacancies than planned, essentially 10% of the time, of the traditional rental time, you don't have anybody in the house. So essentially a month and a half per year, then your cash flow will go to equivalent to -1 per month. What will affect your total return is going to be the appreciation rate. So let's say we decrease that to 5%. Obviously, you can see the drastic reduction in the total return. And if you increase it to 10%, you can see the drastic increase also of the return. So the appreciation rate, which is out of anybody's control, right? It could go up, go down. We don't know what's going to happen in the real estate market, specifically in this area. That could significantly affect your total return here. And again, I understand why this service will be valuable to most, just because real estate is becoming so difficult. One thing that's interesting here to note is essentially they don't give you the option to buy the house in full. They only give you the option to buy the house up to half of the value and essentially cash flow it from there. And you have to get a mortgage, obviously. I would have really liked if they gave you the option to get together with a group of friends or a group of strangers and you guys buy the property outright. So $160,000, everybody chips in $16,000 or more, including closing fees. And from there, you just collect the return on the investment, right? And I wish that this option was available for people that want to live in the house. I would have really loved that if they can somehow come up with a matchmaking process to help you find other people that are in your similar situation that want to buy a house to live in, but they can't afford to do so on their own. So if they can match you with other people that, obviously it will be a little more complicated because making decisions while living together is more complicated. But something like this applied to that, I think would be really cool and would really open a lot of doors for people but yes, I think this is a cool concept. It would be really interesting to try it out, see what it looks like. I wonder what you guys think out there. And I have a special promotion or a special offer to make to all my viewers. If this video can get 100 likes before the end of this year, so by midnight, December 31st, 2021, if I get 100 likes, I will pledge to invest $5,000 in Fractional. And I will give monthly updates or, bi-monthly or every 2 months I can give updates on the progress, how things are going, if I'm getting the return that they've suggested, advertised. So yeah, it could be an interesting journey that we take together and an interesting experience. You guys could get to see firsthand what it looks like to invest through this website. So yeah, again, 100 likes, which is not very ambitious, right? This is a new channel. I don't have a lot of viewers, so I feel like 100 likes is a good first step, right? Hopefully some of those likes, translate into subscriptions, but if not, that's fine. As long as people are interested in the content, I'm willing to invest $5,000 of my own money and provide you updates on how things are going. All right. Thank you again for tuning in, and I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you.